who watched this thing? I heard the overall rating was up, but what was the pattern of ratings?
The ratings this week, AEW Dynamite on the 11th of January did 957,000 viewers.
So that sounds good. I'm going to say at the top of this thing, I don't know what the competition was on other channels or people's various viewing patterns, but if I was watching a wrestling program, as I was, I don't see any natural place that anybody would have tuned out or said, boy, this sucks, until we get to the girls' tag and then the Jericho Appreciators. But I know that they probably lost a significant amount of people early, because they always do, because they're getting big bang people that ain't sticking around. But what were they? Give us the scoop.
Well, segment 1, which was Adam Page versus Jon Moxley, 1,087,000 viewers. Segment 2, which is the end of that match, as well as the beginning, or I guess the entirety of the Adam Cole promo, 959,000 viewers.
Ouch! So, okay, that just means that 100 and something thousand of these people just couldn't find the remote to change the channel, because if you were going to watch the first 15 minutes of this show, and everything I've said about Moxley and Page, this was not one of their matches you would switch off if you gave a shit about this wrestling program at all. So that's what they're dealing with in this first segment, almost, with whatever they put in there. All right, so that's 128,000 people they lost.
Segment 3, the team of Jungle Hook versus Big Bill and Lee Moriarty, as well as the Best Friends and Paul Walter interaction, did 993,000 viewers.
Wait a minute. How the fuck? Wait a minute. Okay, something screwy. How did they get another 34,000 people to jump back in for that?
Either a lot of people
over Moxley and Page.
Either a lot of people really wanted to see Hook, or Paul Walter, or Paul Walter Hauser, whatever his name is.
Walterhausen.
Well, he's got his own fans.
All right, that's an anomaly.
Segment 4, this would be the MJF promo before the match, as well as the Takeshita versus Bryan Danielson match, 940,000 viewers. The start of that match, at least, let me clarify.
Okay, so again, the weakest segment, really, of the show at this point has drawn the second biggest quarter hour, and that ballbuster match with Danielson and Take plus MJF dropped another 53,000.
Hey, listen, this is coming right after that Best Friends promo. So you have this actor, you have Danhausen, you have Orange Cassidy of the Best Friends. That was when I walked away and went to the kitchen. How many other people you think did the same thing?
Well, that might be a byproduct.
Well, the 9 o'clock hour, which is segment 5, the Danielson versus Takeshita match, as well as the Juice Robinson promo, 981,000 viewers.
Okay, so they picked up another 41,000, and this is a part of the program where they never pick people up in sizable numbers. So that Danielson and Take hooked them, no pun intended, to poor Hook.
Well, let's go to 9:15, which is Saraya and Toni Storm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, as well as the Eddie Kingston and Ortiz promo.
Oh, we forgot. They don't like each other, and they're going to have a tag match on Friday, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I watched it on Rampage. The House of Black now kind of walked off with Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston once again is laying in the ring, even though the fans love him.
So Ortiz is black now?
I did not say that, and you're not saying that. He's maybe friends with the House of Black. He's a friend of Black.
He's not full-fledged. He's just honorary. He's not officially black.
Well, let's wherever we're going, let's get back to these ratings here. That segment right there, 976,000 viewers.
That is better than normal again this late in the show, and not a significant drop at all.
Segment 7, Chris Jericho masturbating all over American television, 893,000 viewers.
Ooh, so the Ocho lost Ocho, wait a minute, 7.
Got 800,000 viewers.
Ocho, he lost 7. I can't do the math. He lost Ocho Cuatro thousand people, 84,000.
And finally, the last segment, segment 8, the Elite versus Death Triangle ladder match, 907,000 viewers.
And they ended up getting 14,000 back from Jericho, running everybody off, and that was the second lowest quarter. So the 2 lowest quarter hours of the entire program were Jericho and the Bermuda Triangle against the Cucamonga Kids. So they actually kept, that is the most amazing rating pattern that they have had since they've been on the air. After the initial drop of people running off after the Big Bang Theory was over, they not only kept most of the ones they kept, but they actually raised them a few quarters until they got to Jericho and the 6-man. And then a bunch of people said, fuck it. And that's basically what I did. As soon as I saw Jericho's segment, I said, it's been a good show. I know what's coming up. I'm done. So that makes sense. Well, there you have the numbers, Brian. But you know what?
What?
We all have them now, thanks to you. And you know what else we've got thanks to you and your minions there at Arcadian Vanguard? We have the wrestling news, and we have all these informational podcasts and all these ways to keep up on what's going on, what's happening this week.
When you said what people have because of me and my minions, I thought you were going to say herpes. I was worried where you were going there. Another fine week.
I didn't think you wanted to bandy that around anymore after you paid off those people and had those NDAs signed.
Another fine, who am I, Tony Khan? I don't make people sign NDAs. Another fine week on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all the shows on Twitter at Superpodcast or on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. A few notes. Of course, the wrestling news. What a great time to get caught up every morning on the wrestling news. Who is Vince selling to today? When you wake up in the morning after dreaming about that all night, get the answer with the wrestling news. Your free daily wrestling news podcast. No fluff, no opinion, no star ratings, just wrestling news. Go to thewrestlingnews.com or look for Arcadian Vanguard's The Wrestling News, wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
I heard there's no paywall.
No paywall, no clickbait, just the wrestling news. Also want to make mention of something I talked about last week, and people really have reacted to it. I am the guest on the new episode of Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian R. Solomon. Hear it at suawpod.com.
R.M. Solomons? M.R. not Solomons. L.I.B. M.R.
Or
Solomon.
look for Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon wherever you find your favorite podcast. Like I said, it was 2 hours of me and Brian Solomon talking about wrestling, talking about Crazy Eddie, talking about Godzilla, Jack Benny. It went all over the place. Brian Solomon killing Crash Holly. There's so many things you have to hear about. suawpod.com. Or look for Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And of course, the 605 Super Podcast, The Mothership! Go through the archives today at 605pod.com. Available wherever you find your favorite podcasts, The Mothership.